Hey guys, Will here, and with my friend Links.
Hey guys, how are you?
And today we're just going to be talking about mostly the Batman movie and a little bit of Obi-Wan problem.
Yes, sorry that we missed last week. It was just, William had a spring break and he just wanted to have a good time, so he went and saw the Batman and spent time with his family, and I was busy with an exam, so
Yep, we
sorry
had
about that.
stuff.
But we're back to it, so I hope you guys, I know this is probably way past spring break. I know you guys are looking forward to summer once this video comes out. I know we are.
Yeah,
Um, but I hope you had a good spring break regardless, and we're gonna hop into it. So, I guess before we start,
trivia
no,
question.
never mind. I'm not gonna preface. I'm gonna go with my trivia question first,
Yes.
and I feel like this is a fairly easy trivia question.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So, which empire had the highest population?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Probably. Well, I'm gonna say the biggest empire, right? The British Empire. Because it was the biggest, so therefore I assume it had the most
Well,
people.
I still think the biggest, as in terms of land, is the Mongols, right?
Well, I think technically the British had the most. There was even the saying that the sun never sets on the
Never
British
shit.
Empire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but you are correct with that one. It is the British Empire. We'll have to look up the formalities on which had the highest lands, because I thought that was always the Mongols, but I could be wrong. William's probably right on that one. Um, but you definitely got it right.
Yeah.
Um, it says in 1913, 412 million people lived under the control of the British Empire.
That's not very much. um 4.12 million.
No, 412
Oh,
million.
412. I was like, what? Only 4 million people? I was like,
4
what?
million people? That's kind of crazy.
I was like,
Um,
what? Um, but yeah, that makes more sense. 400 million.
yeah, and the second is the Mongol, Russian, and then, it goes to like China, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. I knew you were going to get that one, though. I had full confidence in you.
Oh, appreciate it.
So, I'm going to preface the beginning of this conversation with William and I, like, usually we have a little debrief on, like, a movie or whatever. Um, I have no clue what William thinks about this movie. So, I'm going to be hearing this the first time that you do. I've sent William text because I saw it before him and it was like, I like this, I don't like this. And literally, I think we shared 2 text messages about it, William's opinion on the movie,
Yeah.
right?
And it was
So,
just, I commented saying the pacing was weird. That's all I said. I didn't say anything else.
yes. So, let's just start right off the bat with you want to do how do we usually do this? Do we usually do stars or points? I can't remember.
We do a rating of 10.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Um, so should I go first?
I'll let you go first.
So, this is very subjective because I'm a huge DC fan. So, of course, you're going to get a skewed point of view from me. William is probably the one you want to listen to more so. I just love DC, so this was it probably knocked Spider-Man down for me. I like this more than Spider-Man. I'd give this probably an 8.5 to a 9, and I'd say Spider-Man is probably a little bit lower now. I know that was a
So,
bold statement. Did you say no?
no, I said, so, I don't remember what I rated No Way Home. Um, but I would say I definitely liked this better than No Way Home.
Really? Really?
Yes.
In
I
all
would say so.
fairness, though, you did have a very critical opinion of No Way Home.
I did. I very
So,
much so. But I think I still rated it good. Like a 7, at least. I I would say in my head, as of right now, Spider-Man No Way Home is like a 7. And then this is like an 8.
yeah, it definitely, yeah, I'd probably, we need to review our review. I feel like once we do our initial reviews, where they're so high,
Yeah.
and now that we've like kind of sat on this for a little bit, we have more of an idea where it goes. So I think 8.5 is probably a good place for this movie to sit, in my opinion,
Mhm.
because it had things I did not like,
Yeah.
but it had things I really liked too.
So
Um.
let's go for with let's go with some positive
Oh,
things.
okay. Before we go, if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is a spoiler review.
Yeah.
Um. But before we say that, like, definitely go see the movie. I think this movie is definitely worth seeing if you haven't seen it yet. Um. And come back once you've seen it to hear our opinions on it. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, and just compare it. But anyways, let's get started. Sorry.
So good things about the movie. I think the Batman was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say, I- I would say the themes of the movie are pretty good. Like
Yes,
I,
the themes, like, I thought the themes were very strong, and not even that. It was also the symbolism within those themes. You
mhm.
know, like, of course, we'll get more into the symbolism because I feel like there's some key things I noticed, and maybe it's just me noticing and looking too much into it. But sorry, you can continue. We'll get into that.
I like um Catwoman. I like her.
So
I like the Riddler. I like the Riddler. I like Jim Gordon. I'm trying to think of
yeah,
only positives here because like I kind of want to say, oh, I like this, but then I don't like this. Like just positive wise, um, the
I,
cinematographer
the
photography,
cinematography
good.
and the world building was incredible.
It was.
Um, like I literally, I don't think I've ever felt like Gotham is a terrible place, and I felt like I was. Never mind, I'm not going to mention that. I was like, I felt like I was walking through California at night.
That's a yikes. It's more like New York on depression. That's what Gotham
True, true.
is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, that's really I can think of for positives. I when we ever go to like these movie reviews, I'm always usually thinking about just the negative stuff, even
Yeah,
though the movie
because
was
of
good.
course, as we say in most of our movie reviews, it's so easy to pick out the stuff that's not good. Like, usually with these movies, there's a lot of good stuff within the movie that you have to pick out the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Just because that's what makes our rating go lower. But
So what are some things you thought that were positive that I didn't mention?
so some positives, I definitely like Commissioner Gordon. I guess he's not Commissioner Gordon.
He's
Um,
gonna be
yes,
considering all
but
the positions that have just been freed up.
I really appreciated like kind of the idea that Batman's not Batman yet. I know like there's the year one Batman, but I
So year
really didn't
two.
feel like Bruce Wayne was Batman or Bruce Wayne until the end of the movie. So I appreciated like we got kind of a story before Batman's put together. It kind of felt, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, The Dark Knight's like the best movie ever" or whatever. Personally, The Dark Knight's good, but I really don't think it's that good of a Batman movie. So I'm biased when it comes to that. But I feel like it's a good place in between Michael Keaton and The Dark Knight.
Mhm.
At least in my opinion, I felt like it established kind of the middle ground. Do I wish it would have been more towards Michael Keaton? Of course. Um, sorry, I'm trying to think of only good things now. But
Yeah,
but it's also just like flowing. Um,
the
you know, I
action
really
was good.
the action was really good. The I really liked the actors. Like some of the people they picked, I was like, no way. Like gosh, what's his name? Andy Serkis,
Oh, as
right?
Alfred.
Yes, I actually ended up really liking that, which I didn't think I was going to. Um, I really liked Catwoman, but Catwoman is not. She's kind of a touchy subject for me in this movie. I know I'm like one of the few people that thinks that, but the characters were done very well. Like Colin Farrell as the Penguin, I would have never thought about that, but that was perfect.
Well,
Like,
what's funny with the Penguin in this movie is like they have him such and so much makeup and like the fat suit that like even though you know it's Colin Farrell, when you look at it like online, you just don't believe it.
yeah, it's incredible. Even the scar is it's just like wow, how did they do that? Um, Gotham, gosh, like just amazing the scenery. I was like, wow, I feel like I'm actually in Gotham. Which I know, like they filmed The Dark Knight in like Pittsburgh and summer, or like that one scene in Pittsburgh and the rest in like I think New York or something. That didn't feel like Gotham to me. This feels like Gotham.
Well, this definitely is a much darker criminal place for sure.
Hmm.
Um,
Which I'm going to kind of get into a little bit later. Um, but those were kind of major positives, like the world, the symbolism, the themes, the characters. All very compelling. Like if you're gonna make a Batman movie, they're gonna have good characters, right? Unless you
yeah.
do something terribly wrong. Just because Batman has arguably some of the best villains, if not the best, which I would say he probably does. Like have the best Rose gallery. But I don't know. I guess we can get into the negative stuff now.
Okay. So for me,
You were waiting.
yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay,
was
so I
waiting.
think this and that.
So I was like holding back.
Yeah.
The
Now the
negatives.
good stuff. Yeah.
Um, I okay. So you said you like Alfred. Alfred. I don't like Alfred in this movie.
Huh.
Um, I don't. Okay, so like I understand what you were saying about how it's an incomplete Batman in this movie, and then like just at the end, he's finally realized his purpose and what he's needed for, and he's now Batman. The Bruce Wayne is so weak. There is
Okay.
no Bruce Wayne.
So we're gonna touch on this just because I do want to have this conversation. I've heard this critique a lot of times. But the thing is, Bruce Wayne is not Batman. I mean, is not Bruce Wayne. He's Batman, and Bruce Wayne on the side, of course.
Yeah,
So part of becoming Batman is also becoming Bruce Wayne, if that makes sense. Because Bruce Wayne can help the city in in ways that the Batman cannot, and Batman can help the city in ways Bruce Wayne cannot. So when you
I
combine
understand
those
that.
two, it's just kind of like building the character, I think.
Okay, so I understand where you're coming from with that, but they don't show it, you know?
I totally
As
agree.
as
Yeah.
big Batman fans in general, you and me, we know this, right? But to someone that's just going to movie theater, they're not showing that he's embraced Bruce Wayne along with Batman. Like that's
Well,
not
yeah,
a thing.
that's true. It I feel like it kind of touches on that, but if you did not know the character, I guess you would not know that, right?
Yeah.
So that is a very good point. I went with multiple people, and the second group of people I went with, they didn't know much about Batman. It was like my dad and like another family friend, and I ended up explaining why everything made sense and like why this connects to that and some Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What the heck? I didn't even know that. Like that changes my opinion on this and on that." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, for someone
So
who doesn't, this was more like for the comics people. It's sort of like how Suicide Squad, like the most recent one, was like for the people who enjoy the superheroes and the comics, like those kind of
yeah,
people. So
which
for a lot of
you get
people, this was a drawn out 3 hour movie that they didn't get all the context almost, you know?
mhm. Which I feel like that's difficult. Like you miss you're s- like my girlfriend watched it right, and she's like, "Well, I didn't even know Catwoman or like that girl was Catwoman." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
Like, I
of course
mean,
that's
it's
Catwoman.
it's obvious to us, but it's not to like a normal person.
Yeah,
We're not
like if you're
normal.
watching the movie and you're like, I guess this is kind of out of example, but like I feel, but also I see why she did say that because
They
it was
never
never
said it.
really, yeah, it was never explicitly stated. I was like, what? How did you not know that? That's of course that's Catwoman because I heard like Selena Kyle's and I was like, yeah, that's
And then there was
definitely
cats
Catwoman.
everywhere.
Yeah, and but you know, a lot of that stuff wasn't stated. So I was sitting here like looking at the movie like in depth, and people were just like, okay, who's that? What's that? Like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
So I can understand that people would have like a very, I've heard very mixed reviews about this movie because, and I think that's a really good point that you made because you got to know the character. Like, if you don't know the character, you're probably not going to like the movie.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good point, and why the reviews are so mixed is because you have people that kind of know the character and really do know the character that are like, oh, this is a good movie. Or maybe not. Maybe some people, I'm sure there's some people that are like, oh, I know the character and this is a terrible movie or whatever. But,
Yeah.
because I've heard that too, but I feel like for the general public, it was kind of hard to get into.
I mean, another thing I want to bring up is when I saw the movie, I only saw it with my dad because my other family members were unable to because of stuff that happened. But after the movie, when we're like on the car drive back, he was like he was very wimpy, is what my dad described him as. He's like, "That's a really wimpy Batman."
Oh,
And then he brought up how if Superman was there, this Batman would be done. And I was like, "You're right, but he's not supposed to be. Like,
yeah.
he's a young, inexperienced Batman." And
Which
to be, I want to be like, this is something I've thought about in detail. The reason why,
this kept me up at night.
okay, so the reason why Dark Knight and this movie, in my opinion, work is because this is a world without Superman, without the Justice League, right? If you were to add Superman to the Dark Knight trilogy, that Batman would not stand a chance. That's why
Agreed.
Ben Affleck, Batman, was the way he was, because they had to have a Batman that could compete. That's why some people say Ben Affleck is the most comic accurate, even though he kills people. That kills people kind of throws away that argument. But
I
besides killing
totally
people,
disagree with that, but I do see your point.
you need a Batman who can equal
But
Superman. These
so
Batman do not.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about this. At the moment, I feel like he does not, but in the future, I feel like he will.
I don't know, man. I think he's not meant for that, you know?
I feel
I
like he
feel like
could. I feel
it
like he really could, especially like advancing the character a little bit more. I feel like you definitely could have that type of character who's like the detective type that just. But also, I see how it does not fit. I don't know. It's very conflicting. I think we'll have to wait to find out if it does work, right?
yeah. But
Because even I do
yeah.
see your point, though.
But what
Um,
I'm saying is for those people that came in looking for a regular movie to enjoy, they missed out on a lot of context. They may not have liked it. And those Batman fans that were looking for, or just regular Batman enthusiasts, is what I'll call them, were expecting a Batman who could stand up to Superman and be like Ben Affleck, action level. We're gonna be
yeah, but like
disappointed.
Ben Affleck was probably one of my least favorite Bat. He was probably my least favorite Batman, which is
He
like
better in the Justice League Snyder cut. The Snyder cut
it.
was good.
So this is my thing about the Snyder cut. Zack Snyder is just trying to recreate The Watchmen. He's a terrible director, and he just needs to stop. Like it's just terrible what he did to the DC, and it's
I'm just
as a
saying
DC
that
fan, I
one
have
movie
something
was
really
great.
against him because he really ruined the DC extended universe because he wanted to make Watchmen again. Speaking
Yeah.
of Watchmen, though, the beginning of this movie, where he's like, Day 5, the city is full of filth. I
Yeah,
feel
that
myself
Rorschach.
drowning in these. That was totally Rorschach. And I said that to my friend. I was like, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm watching Watchmen.
He was definitely I would tell you, that opening to this movie was so good. Where the villains were looking into the shadows when they saw the
That
bat signal
was
because they knew
that
that
was good.
Batman was around but didn't know where he was. I was
I
like,
really
"That's so
did like
good.
that. That was so
That's
smart
so
because
good."
I do think like you know talking about the story a little bit. He transitions from being vengeance to being the hero everybody needs. That's why I say like he's going to become more of a Bruce Wayne character in the next one.
Yeah.
But it's so that was so good because you know I've never felt that way in like a superhero movie like or I've never seen that like the idea oh these people are going to catch me or I got to watch out because this person is here and I was like that's so smart. I love that so much. But yeah, that was super cool.
So
One
I
thing
do
we
wanna
didn't say about
touch.
our positive before, I don't know if
Yeah?
this is a positive or negative for you. I really love the Batmobile now.
Okay. So that car chasing, very
Okay.
disappointing. Very disappointing.
I still thought it was cool, but the Batmobile, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing just went through like a concrete, um, like tube or whatever. Like it just went right through it. I was like, this is so cool.
The longer the chase went on, the more, like, useless the Batmobile was, almost. Because
Well,
it he got trapped, and his Batmobile doesn't have any weapons. It's just a muscle car with a nitro booster on the back.
look, I
Like,
like that though as a beginning Batman. It's just so cool.
it was just like I feel like he would almost do better with just the bike. He used the bike the whole movie and only used the Batmobile in that scene. If he just used, the bite, the bat sickle, that's what I'm gonna call it, the bat cycle,
Too cool.
sickle, yeah.
Oh,
Um, if he just used that the whole movie, I would have really no problem with it. Like they built it up in the trailers and stuff, but that chase scene was so bad. That's the only action like set piece I did not enjoy. I was like,
Okay.
why is it so bad?
I'm inclined to disagree. The one thing that did ruin that scene for me is it was pointless. Like
Yeah,
they
because
just killed all those
Penguin wasn't even
people.
it.
Yeah, and Penguin's not the. So all those people are dead now, probably because of that explosion, and
Yeah,
that was a little frustrating. But
I feel like
you know,
this movie was longer than it needed to be because that chase scene, and then also let me explain my thing about the pacing.
okay,
So
go for it.
the action scenes were good, right? Except for the car chase scene. But every time you had an action scene, you had long periods of just investigation and talking. And
That is a good point.
it was almost like it was like, okay, you had Batman uh beating those guys up in the subway. And then you get the Nirvana song and investigation. Then you have him uh uh beat up another person. And then Nirvana investigation scene. And then you have him beat up more people, uh, um, and do more investigating. Nirvana song plays, and it just kept doing that. And I was like, I get this Batman's supposed to be investigating stuff. You're taking too much time in between action to where you're gonna leave most people bored, right?
Yeah,
And he didn't need to have the movie 3 hours. Take out the car scene, take out some of the time where investigation was quite weird because at times he was just kind of staring, and then he's like, "Ah, I see." Just have I don't know. Also, I mean, it's just like the pacing was just weird to me.
I see your point,
Yeah.
which I think the reason why it was so weird, right, is because he's not just going against the Riddler. He's going against Falcone, and then also the Catwoman thing, and then it's just
The
a
penguin
lot.
thing.
Yeah, the Penguin, which is Falcone, like kind of still. But one thing like people are, I this has been like my least popular opinion in a long time. I don't like how they introduced Catwoman in the movie.
What, just giving drugs or something? I forgot
No,
what she's doing. She just walks
I
in.
don't like how they made her friend like dead, and that's the reason why she wants to
Oh,
help Batman. I think it should have just been he caught her like stealing, like on a separate thing. I know you're like, oh, the pacing this, but I feel like if he caught her stealing from something, right? I just feel like that would have flowed a bit better. And I know it's like, well, how would she be involved with the Falcone or whatever, and how would he talk to her? But I just don't know. I feel like Catwoman for me did not seem like Catwoman at first.
when I think about it right now, I don't like how her father is Falcone. I don't like that.
I'm pretty
I
sure
do
that's in the
think
comics though.
is it
Yes, which I think I read that somewhere like a while ago.
okay. Well then, I mean that's fair to have though. Then, but like I didn't really like that was a big focus because it. Okay, so I was fine with her friend thing, but then they had the Falcone thing too. I feel like you should have just had one or the other. You
That's
know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying, right? And which it's hard for me because I really like the character of Catwoman, and people are like, "Oh, this was an amazing Catwoman," but also at the same time, like Catwoman is just a tease, and I really didn't feel like Catwoman was the tease. I feel like Batman was the tease, if that makes sense. You
Well,
get what I'm saying?
you mean like how it was like oh they like each other, but
Yeah,
nothing's
but like
happening.
it was more so like Batman's focusing on his thing and like being the tease like, oh, look in my eyes or whatever. And then I really
No,
wanted that from Catwoman, you know? Like just kind of
yeah,
like the flirty that was and I know a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, she did amazing," which she did really good, but I just it felt weird to me. Like it didn't feel like full Catwoman because
she
ultimately
wasn't like I guess the way to say it was mm, she wasn't trying to think how to say this. She wasn't using her
y-
sexuality with her character, which is something she's known
yes.
for, right?
Yes, specifically for like Batman because she
Yeah,
for some like which I know it's like, well, yeah, the character should use their sexuality or whatever. I'm one of those people that would probably never say that, but when it's a character like that, I definitely think that
where it's part of
it's
her.
and yeah, it's important. And I just didn't feel that at all, and it was very off-putting for me, I think.
Yeah,
But
it
I
was
don't
almost
know,
like
and
she felt something for Batman, and Batman was just kind of like messing with
mm,
her.
for sure. And my thing is, Catwoman is supposed to be this idea for Batman. This idea. Have you read Hush? Batman
Uh,
Hush?
I basically know what happened.
Okay, so there's this really like big thing where like, you know, Batman and Catwoman kiss during that story, and at the end she says something like hush. And then Batman like goes off after he's like, oh, like they talk about wanting to be together, and then she says hush or whatever. And he's like, oh no, she was behind this the whole time. And because he doesn't trust anybody. Well, she's supposed to be this reminder for Batman, like this kind of idea that I could get out of what I'm doing and, you know, pursue my life the way I would want to. Also with the idea of like Batman's not trusting, she also like has that aspect too. Like it shows how Batman can never trust someone enough to be with them, and uh, arguably other than Robin, you know, like the Robins.
And Alfred
Yeah, and Alfred. But
and Batgirl.
yeah, but I'd say the best example is probably Dick Grayson for that, and Alfred. Um, but I just didn't feel that vibe coming on.
I mean,
I know
the
that.
way you could think about it is like how in Dark Knight, like at the end of the trilogy, he leaves with Catwoman. That's
Mm.
the ulterior life he could have, right?
Yes, of course. Which is it's just so like I know like a lot of people are like, well, I really like this and I really like that, but this is the reason I didn't like the character, and I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm very if you've been listening to this channel for a little bit, you notice I get caught on little things. Like if I see something really insignificant and I'm like, that feels weird. The character feels weird to me, or the story feels weird to me. That's just how I am. Um, but I don't know. That was just me.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean, another thing I want to talk about was the suit. Um, it looked better than I thought it would.
I agree.
The I mentioned this before. I don't like how bulletproof he is because it's like he takes so many bullets throughout the movie, and it's almost
Yeah.
like he's untouchable. But then at the end, he somehow isn't.
Oh, that's
Um,
because it's a shotgun, though.
yeah, but like he was taking
I guess he was taking high
machine
power
guns
rounds at like
point
blank
blank.
blank, but
Yeah,
also that buckshot is just tough. But
Yeah, like
it's a tough situation because those are probably, they're Falcone. Those are probably very high powered weapons, right?
yeah,
It's just, yeah, that is a weird thing. I really felt like his fighting style was not yet formed,
yeah.
which I don't know if this guy's or if this Batman has not been trained by like the
They
League of
never established.
Assassins and or if it's just Alfred that trained him. That's what I'm very confused about.
Because
Which
Alfred did mention teaching him like how to hit,
I
basically.
hope to God that he was trained like how he classically has been trained in the
Yeah.
comics.
'Cause if
Because
he
I
isn't, it's, that'd be bad if he wasn't.
yeah, and just it ties so much together, If you want to make Batman a character, I feel like so much of his backstory is like going off and training and doing like forming himself into a weapon. But
Yeah.
I do want to touch on the symbolism in the movie.
Before we do
So,
that,
oh okay.
before we do that, one last thing. This makes me want to see year one of what happened. Because,
So interesting that you say that. Very interesting. You know the guy who plays the Riddler.
yeah,
He's actually writing a year one comic for the Batman.
really.
That's a rumor I heard. I don't know if it's 100% true. Let me look it up on Google because
Well,
everybody knows Google is 100% true.
yes.
Um,
The reason why I say this, though, is because Jim Gordon is such a ride or die this movie. What happened to make him trust him that much? Like
so
what did he do? Like what happened?
so
Is
what I think happened is the way I interpret it is nothing's been working out. Like, yeah, Paul Dano is right in a year one, a Riddler year one. So we're gonna see the Riddler year one. We're not necessarily gonna see a Batman year one.
Hmm,
Um, but I imagine it's gonna touch on that. Yeah, I really do want to see the Batman version, so hopefully we'll get that after, probably buy the Paul Dano Riddler Year One comic just because I already bought the book. I haven't read it yet, but oh yeah, there's a prequel novel if you guys didn't know.
yeah.
But kind of, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Basically, what made Jim Gordon so loyal
Oh,
to Batman?
yes. So the idea behind that, in my opinion, was he has given up on the system that he withholds, or like, like he's seen so much happen that he's given up on the system. Is going to try something new, and he believes Batman is the new way because he's been helping, like, he because it's a different thing. He's willing to give a different thing a chance
I mean,
because it's shown its effectiveness, though.
this is like the first time he's brought him into a crime scene. So it's something that's just started. Him bringing him to these crime scenes. So
But I imagine he's seen his work, though.
yeah, but like, what did he have to do to have Jim Gordon risk his career, his livelihood, and like just risk everything, his life? You know how many times Jim Gordon went with Batman to a situation where he could have died very easily?
You know, I do
Like,
think they should establish that within like a comic series, but also I just think it's the idea like he's given up on the system. He's seen the work the Batman puts out and he's like, I think this guy is actually trying to do something good. I'm willing to give him a chance. You know?
I mean, I get that, but that doesn't instill loyalty. Let's say like,
Yeah, I
right?
guess you do make a
There's
compelling
some
point.
dude wearing a bat costume beating the crap out of criminals, and for some reason you just are like, oh, he's doing the right thing because he's beating the crap out of people. So I'm
Well,
gonna bring him into crime
unfortunately,
scenes, and we're gonna do this. I'm gonna put a thumb drive he just found on my computer and get pictures of a dead person with hookers all over the news. Like, you're gonna risk that? Why would you do it on your private computer?
for sure, one yeah, like you said, I do want to see a kind of a Batman Year One
Like, I'm not saying it's
story.
impossible. I'm just saying I
Yeah,
want to know how this happened, how this bond was formed.
I do think it's a very interesting thing. I just think at the moment it's more of a okay, this is here, and we're just gonna accept it.
Yeah, I just want to know why.
Yeah,
Right,
that
it's a
makes sense.
symbolism.
Symbolism. One thing I did appreciate. This is just one thing I noticed. Of course, there's a theme of like revenge only leads to destruction, and one thing I did pick up on is this idea that when Batman is in his suit, he is nothing. But when he's Bruce Wayne, he's everything. And, kind of the idea that the Batman and the Riddler were torn from the same cloth or, sewn, however the saying goes. The Riddler, when he's in a suit, is everything. But when he's outside, he's nothing.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that at all? Or is that
Yeah,
just me?
yeah. And the way that's why, like, in the scene where Batman's interrogating the Riddler, and it's like, um, this is who you really are. You're not wearing a mask. This is the true you,
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. Um, kind of
So,
speaking on that, the Riddler, I thought he was a good villain. I do question his plan, though.
good one, good one.
Ha, 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 ha. But yeah, his plan was to give a bunch of uh stereotypical kid that shoots up a school, just get a bunch of those guys and shoot up everything. Oh, I was not important to society, so I'm gonna kill society. Like, I, I don't
I think what
get
the
what the
plan
objective
was
is.
was they're taking down the establishment that is the government at the moment.
They're killing everyone. They flooded the entire city, got everyone cornered like rats in a rat trap. Uh, and they just start unloading. They
Yeah,
were gonna
but the
kill
way
everyone in there. Why would they
what I was
stop?
thinking, this could just be like a dumb example because like Hollywood doesn't know guns. They were using rifles, right? What do you use a rifle for, William?
Hunting.
Yes, like if you're targeting, what do you use a machine gun for? Or I know you can't like buy a machine gun really, so that's a bad example. What do you use for like?
Shooting up
I
a
mean,
school.
yeah. What would? Never mind. Do not answer it like that.
No,
If
but,
you
like,
want to assure as much destruction as possible, what do you use? Something that can fire a lot of rounds.
actually, you just use a pistol. 'Cause that's
Well,
what they use in
statistically,
real life.
yes. That's why you have to wait till you're 21 to get a pistol. But
But
just because
still,
they're so concealable
they
and stuff. But
they were still killing everyone just because they weren't using the most maximized weapon. Like you said, you can't get a machine gun like that. So they
yeah, but
it's not like
so
they were
you
constantly
do you think it
reloading
was just
either.
Hollywood like just not understanding guns?
Yeah, I think it was just that. But
Okay,
they
because
were
I was like,
I mean, your plan is to kill everyone in there, right? Tell me what their plan was if it wasn't just to kill everyone.
yeah, that's a good point. Um,
I just don't understand. Like, I get the whole, ah, if you are justice, please don't lie. Don't something blind eye riddles.
I think it
But
was just to take revenge on the society
no,
that
no,
has like
I get.
suppressed them.
Well, it had like a theme of showing the corruption of the city and like freeing the city of corruption and stuff like that. But then it just turns into I'm gonna kill everyone.
Yeah, I
Like
feel like it would have been much more compelling if they were targeting certain people.
they were though. They absolutely were. They were
No,
targeting
but
the
like not
corrupted
trying to kill
people.
everyone, but like trying to get rid of all the government officials in place.
Yeah, because like at the end it just turned into we're gonna kill everyone. So if they had
Yeah,
kept the theme of specific people who were corrupt or something like that, it would have been a better like ending to the villain, right?
yeah,
I
I
mean, the
agree.
action scene was good, but it should have been different, you know?
Yeah, that is very interesting now that you bring it up. I thought it was like they were targeting specific people, but now that I'm thinking about the quantity of rounds that they brought, they were probably trying to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Um, which, just being me, I was like, oh, they have rifles. Like, what else are they doing? They're trying to target certain people because that's what a rifle does. But, that's just, I guess that was not the point of that.
Yeah.
Um, that's a good point though. Um, so talking about that scene, amazing scene by the way. You see the Catwoman, he injects himself with adrenaline, and then that guy should have looked like the Elephant Man and he didn't. But
Yeah. I that came out of nowhere though. The adrenaline. Like
oh yeah, he just like pulled it out and was like, and then
I
it
was
just
like, wait a minute. Is this like the venom that
yeah, that's what everybody was saying, and I was like, no, that's definitely adrenaline.
well, I
But
was
he
like,
punched the dude like 20 times, and the dude just had a normal looking face, and I was like, you should look like the Elephant Man.
well, I know that it was adrenaline, right? But when you first see him take it out, you're like, wait a minute. Is this
Yeah, it's like green. You're like, oh my gosh, he's about to turn into Bane.
because you know how Jason Todd carries around venom
Yeah,
on him? I was like, oh, maybe he's doing that because he's not as strong, right? So like when he needs it, doing that, but he just gets roid rage and just starts. But yeah, like you said, the guy was not damaged as much as he should be. I do like the
which
parallel though when they said like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I am
I'm vengeance.
vengeance." And the
Which
Batman's
this
like,
is kind of a
"Wait a minute."
weird. This is kind of a weird thing. Like, forgive me. This is not probably totally incorrect. Don't say, "Oh, this character's in the Batman universe because Lincoln said so." That guy kind of looked like he could play the Mad Hatter.
That was the same guy who was at the funeral, right?
Oh, I didn't
Right?
even realize that.
I'm
It
pretty sure that's
very
the
well
same
could
guy.
be. Yeah,
He was definitely part of it, for sure.
that's a really good point. I never noticed that. I don't know, but that guy, I was like, that guy looks like he could play the Mad Hatter. Which I know, like, the Mad Hatter is, like, blonde, but I'm, like, talking about, like, in the Arkham games, he looks like that, in my opinion. Um, I don't know, but I didn't notice that. That's really cool. Um, so, gosh, now I'm just thinking about that. What else did I miss? So,
You know what was
after
really
that
weird?
scene,
The,
what?
the El Rata Alada.
That was weird.
Well, okay, first of all, they messed up like the conjunction because remember, even the penguin's like it's La Rata because it ends with an A. So it was like I don't know. The Riddler's stupid for that one. I don't.
Was it the Riddler that messed it up, or was it Batman?
Both. I think it's both because it was a stupid riddle to begin with, and then um, Batman. Batman kind of like turned his brain off in that part of the movie because, like we said, it was kind of a wasted chasing. Like he was, I don't know. I think he was so focused on the Penguin just already that he's like
Well, I think
convenient.
what was compelling him is like, someone else is gonna die. I need to prevent that, and it shows what happens when you're trying to prevent something from happening.
Yeah.
When not thinking about it. But anyways, that scene right after he fights everyone and the adrenaline thing, the baptism is what I'm going to call it, where he becomes Batman. I thought that was really cool symbolism. Did you pick up on that?
Baptism, when you mean like when he falls in the water?
Yes, I thought that was symbolism for baptism.
What was the point of the electricity? Like, I thought he was gonna get shocked. Did he get shocked at all?
I think he did. But that was a really cool scene because when I saw that I was like, now he's Batman,
Yeah.
Which I know I don't know if that was intentional or not because a lot of, but I really feel like it is because a baptism is like a symbolism for like a new life, right? And he's a new person now once he did that. So he fell, came out of the water a new person,
Yeah.
Did you pick up on that or is that just me?
No, I definitely did.
So
I mean, like, I didn't directly think baptism, but like right after that, like I understand where you're coming from because right after that, he helped people. Like they were afraid of him, but you know what was cool? The kid was unafraid of him, and they were building that up, and I appreciate that there was a payoff to that. Because the kid, like the kid and Batman, looked at each other before. Then him and Bruce Wayne looked at each other at the funeral, and the kid was
Bruce
the first
Wayne
one.
saved him, yeah.
Yeah,
But he doesn't know that's Batman, so he's just like,
I know, but I'm just saying. He sees Batman, and he's like, first one to come out. He's like, I trust Batman.
And that scene was beautiful. That's, oh my gosh.
With the red.
Yes, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Hey, tell me who this is.
If you are justice, please do not lie. What is the price for your blind eye?
That was pretty good. That's really cool.
Dude, I love that riddle. It's probably the best one.
Yeah, the riddles were actually
except for the El Rata one.
So. Yeah, like I appreciated how Batman got the riddles so quick because it was like, oh this, oh that.
I like the bomb scene though.
Yes.
That was good.
One of my favorite parts of the movie is where the guy that sounds like he can barely breathe at the police station, he's like, I should write you up for hitting an officer. He's like, what about two? Or like, no, he says, I should write you up for hitting two officers. And he goes, what about three? And goes to punch someone else. I love that scene. Like, that is one of my favorite things ever now.
They were upset with, what's it called? Him doing that, like trying to save the guy's life. And they were blaming him for it. I mean, he was gonna die because he wasn't gonna give up the information.
If anything, he helped him.
Yeah.
Because only he would have killed him regardless, but he would have eventually killed that guy, and just until Batman answered,
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm kind of. Do you have anything else you want to talk about within the movie? We've kind of not covered a lot, but I feel like
we haven't. But like, I think
we have. Yeah,
we covered a lot of stuff that we're like interested in talking about. I think
yeah.
the movie was good overall. Overall, there were some things I didn't like, but I liked the movie mostly. The action scenes were good. The choreography and the fights were good. The use of, I wish they did use more of the shadows, because
Yeah,
for
that would
some
have been
reason,
cool.
Batman just walks everywhere. He walks everywhere. Like, I don't get what the point of that is. You see him like 5 times just walking. Sometimes it's out of
Which
the
were those
shadow.
penguin goons in the beginning?
It's good in the beginning, but then
No,
it's
were
just like,
those penguin goons in the beginning?
no, they were not. They're just regular guys who were just beating up on people
They
for
looked
fun.
like penguin goons.
They weren't associated though. They're like, I think, just like a gang or just a bunch of people that were jerks.
I don't know, because I remember when we first watched the trailer, right? We were like, "Oh, the penguins people," you know.
Yeah,
And I guess we were completely wrong about that.
yeah.
But
They didn't have any importance.
you know,
Do you think that was Tim
pleasantly
Drake?
surprised. I hope not. I hope they don't do Tim Drake before they do Dick Grayson.
That's what I've been saying, but you're like, I wonder if it's Tim Drake. Nah.
I think they would do Dick Drake though, just because they're dumb and don't respect Dick Grayson. But okay.
Yeah.
They
haven't done Robin well in a live action movie.
Well, no, they haven't. But
plus, you really want a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was an older version of Robin, I think it'd be better. But
yeah, I totally agree. Which there's 2 options now. I was looking for names. That kid is not a Robin. The one that you said was, I think that kid's that could maybe become Robin. We don't know his name. I was like, that's a really good point. That could. I don't think he's going to become Robin. I think he was just like there for the symbolism of like, Batman starting to build trust in individuals, right?
Yeah.
But that could be Tim Drake, because he does play Tim Drake in Titans, right?
Yeah.
Which I hope it's not. If he...
That's why he looked familiar. I was like, because I had seen that. Yeah.
Which is just like, because Tim Drake would probably be perfect for this Batman. But also,
you can't skip though. You can't do that.
Dick Grayson is Robin. I'm sorry. He is just Robin. Like, when you think of Robin, you think of Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson is like...
I mean,
he's
Robin.
Batman, but better, basically. That's what he becomes, which, a lot of people would argue with that. But, like, he becomes everything that Batman cannot be. So it's just... it's... I'd be very sad. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But, you want to move on to possible futures of the movie? Like, what... Or not possible futures. Like, what we think could happen next.
So, I hope they make a sequel. I feel like that's kind of up in the air at this moment.
I definitely think they will with the money they generated.
The next villain, I feel like Penguin won't be the next villain.
But, yeah, with the Penguin thing though,
I don't think he's gonna be the villain.
Well, they're making a Penguin show, so
yeah,
and on HBO Max, along with the Arkham show. So I don't think Penguin's going to be the villain. I think Penguin's probably going to be to the side for a little bit. Initially, my first instinct is Hush.
It's too early. It's
I
too
don't know
early.
if it's too early as much as it is. I don't think people would like it because the Riddler is so involved within that story.
Is it just going to be Joker? Because Joker was in the cell at the end?
I don't think it will be Joker either.
I really
I've heard
want to see a
I've heard
Dr. Freeze. Oh, sorry, Mr. Freeze.
I was just like Dr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze, gosh. Yeah, which the biggest rumor I've heard at the moment is Court of the Owls. It is way too early to do Court of the Owls. Dick Grayson is tied into that story. Because Dick Grayson becomes, the whole thing that story established with Dick Grayson was if his parents wouldn't have been killed, he would have become part of the Court of the Owls. Which is so crazy because he's not, and he's a good guy now. So I feel like that's not like a huge part of the story, but it's also like, that's a really cool piece of the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like you said, though, it is too early. I think it's maybe Two-Face.
I don't think they're going to do Two-Face because then they're going to introduce Harvey Dent.
So
they're going to introduce a Harvey Dent, I believe.
Probably next movie, and then Harvey Dent. Then Two-Face could be the villain for the third movie.
What I would love to see is a bunch of B-list villains for Batman. Like, I guess Man-Bat's not...
Condiment.
Kite Man? That's more like a D-list villains, like Penny Plunderer. I'd love to see Penny Plunderer, how he gets the giant penny in his Batcave. I'd love to see that, but
maybe no. We've done Scarecrow too much.
Mad Hatter, Clayface.
So you said like B level villains, right?
Yeah.
So like Black Mask.
The thing with Black Mask is they use Black Mask in the Birds of Prey. And the thing the thing with Black Mask is within Arkham, the Arkham games, people would be like, "Oh my gosh, that's the Joker," because within the Arkham games, Black Mask was the Joker. So I don't know if that's the best pick. Ideally, I'd love to see Deathstroke, but that's just me.
He's I think a little too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Way too much. Well, we know probably Victor Zsasz is going to be in Arkham. That's probably where he is. So he can be his. You know what's one we don't see ever?
Who?
Killer Moth.
That's my initial thought. But the thing is with that, that would be a great storyline. But they're coming out with a Batgirl movie. That's the only problem with that.
Where does Batgirl come from?
The first appearance of Batgirl is actually the first appearance of Killer Moth in the Silver Age. So I imagine they're going to do a Killer Moth thing with the Batgirl.
No, but movie. Where's this Batgirl coming from?
I don't know if it's the same universe, so that's a good point.
It's a universe where it's just Batgirl? No Batman?
I doubt it. I think Killer Moth would be a very good choice, though.
Maybe Calendar Man.
The thing is, you need one overarching villain. And I'm trying to think, because there's been so many done. I don't think the Joker is a good choice.
I don't think any villain that's been in any other Batman movie should be in this one, really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I would love a Poison Ivy or a Mr. Freeze, but, that's already happened.
You've already done Scarecrow too much. Clayface? But he's a little abstract, though, with his powers.
Clayface is one of those characters where it's a side character, kind of. Like, he's a B-list.
Maybe instead of Joker, the main villain's Harley Quinn.
I would not like that at all.
No, you know what? They wouldn't do that, though, because of how big What's-Her-Face is.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's a big Nightwing villain?
Big. Why would you go with a Nightwing villain? Nightwing isn't even
I just mean
established.
like a Dick Grayson villain.
I mean, first one I think Deathstroke because the
Well, that's
Titans, but
Titans. That's not like. Is there like a
um,
character that is a Batman villain that's more like a Dick Grayson themed thing? So it's like Dick Grayson be introduced as Robin and helps Batman defeat this character type deal.
I'm trying to think.
Honestly, though, I feel like this Batman's so mature, giving him a Robin would just make him weird. Like it feels almost unnatural for him to have a Robin.
Yeah, but also at the same time, you need a Robin with Batman. Um,
I was gonna say Hugo Strange, but I feel like that's too
that's a
early.
good pick.
I
That is
think
a
it's too
good
early.
pick. You think so?
Well,
I think that's solid because you know how I was saying you need a bunch of B-lists? You could release Zaz, you could release all these characters like Clayface, and you'd be like, well, who's the villain behind it? Oh, Hugo Strange.
I feel like if they're gonna do that, that'd be an Arkham plot. That'd be a plot for Arkham.
Yeah, and I guess that would be like a premature Nightfall where like Bane is like, okay, well, I'm gonna
Yeah,
tire out
like he'll
Batman.
break his back.
Yeah, which I don't know
I
who.
was born in the darkness. Molded by it. Firefly.
Firefly's already confirmed in the Batgirl movie.
Oh,
Deadshot.
he's been done so much.
You know what I'd love to see?
What would you love to see?
Did you played the Arkham games, right?
Yeah.
You I can't remember which one it was. Did you play the one where you had to go through the sewers and
Fight Killer Croc.
yes.
Killer Croc is too strong. Like, there's characters you can't have him fight. Killer Croc, Man Bat, cannot do Man Bat because it would just be too strong.
I feel like Man Bat wouldn't be too bad, but Solomon
The
Grundy
dude's
could be
half bad. He's half bad. Too strong. Too strong. Um, definitely Solomon Grundy is way too strong.
do Copperhead. I don't think that would be good though.
Is he considered a Batman villain? Copperhead?
I thought so.
Thought he was like a villain for someone else. Honestly,
Yeah,
I think the
I thought it
best
was
bet probably is like Mad Hatter.
which I said that guy looked like Mad Hatter, right? So if they did
Yeah.
that, I
But I
mean,
feel like that might be like an opening villain that you beat up though. That's what he feels like. He doesn't feel like a big.
ultimately, I think the best one we've mentioned so far is Killer Moth.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like the evil alternative to Batman and be like, I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a very compelling story, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think if they do anything, they're either going to do Court of the Owls, Hush, or Hush. Just because I was watching the movie and you hear the reporter's name Elliot, and Hush is Thomas Elliot.
Oh, you know what's interesting? I just remembered a couple of characters. What was his name? Pig?
No, that guy is so creepy. I feel like that would be such a miss for audiences.
Really? You think he's a little too. So, well,
He's
I mean, this
so weird.
oink oink. And it like chops people up.
Professor Pig, where he creates like those mindless people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like that's just too much.
How about
So-
Azrael?
Not big enough,
Not big enough.
in my opinion. That would be. I'd much rather see Killer Moth. That's all. You know.
Well, if they introduce Ra's al Ghul, that could work.
No, because you can't introduce Rachel. Huh. This is interesting. Sorry, I know. I know we're probably just gonna have We've probably just had like a 15-minute conversation of what this could be. It's just kind of interesting to see what it could be. You know, you don't want to do characters that have been done before.
Well,
But if they're bringing
Riddler's
in-
already been done, right? I don't think they
If
should.
they're bringing,
If it's a character,
if
it
they're
can't
bring-
be a Dark
sorry.
Knight character. My bad.
if they're bringing in Tim Drake, I'm sure it's going to be the Batman, or I mean the Scarecrow,
Mhm.
because one of Tim Drake's first. I'm pretty sure one of Tim Drake's first is Scarecrow. It's not his first, but I don't know.
About Doctor Hurt.
Why am I blanking on that name?
Yeah, I didn't remember this guy either. I'm looking at him now. It says Dr. Simon Hurt is one of the more surreal and unusual villains to be added to Batman's rogues gallery in recent years. He originally claimed to be Thomas Wayne himself, though it was eventually revealed that he's actually a distant ancestor of the Waynes who became possessed by a demonic creature called Barbatos. Okay, so definitely not him. They don't want to bring in.
Oh,
They don't want to bring in demons. I don't think
the Bat God, Barbados, the Bat God.
the bad.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's a problem. Barbados.
So good choices.
Maybe Lady Shiva.
Sorry, what did you say?
Lady Shiva.
Ooh, I think that's too early though.
I mean, if you were going to introduce Ra's al Ghul, right? Maybe have Lady Shiva as like a stand-in.
Yeah, but also like Lady Shiva is the best fighter within DC, so that would just be no match. So I'm pretty sure she is.
Really the best. Nah. I don't know about that. Well, clearly, me and Lincoln don't know who the villain is. Yeah.
Lady Shiva is number one. I'm telling you.
If she is, I don't believe it.
Okay. Well, anyways, Cassandra Cain's up there as well because she has the ability where she can read people. But she's lower than Batman for sure. Nightwing's up there for sure. Ra's al Ghul. Deathstroke, I would say, is up there. Bronze Tiger. I'd say Damien is probably going to become the best, but that's just okay.
They keep
Sorry.
him alive long enough.
This is what I'd want to see. Mad Hatter. One option, Mad Hatter.
He's too weak.
I don't think so. Because he mind controls people and he could basically use the people of Gotham against Batman. Very interesting storyline, and I think it would be a very interesting thing to do. 2. Hugo Strange. Kind of create like a, he lets out prisoners, or he's like conducting the whole thing, or use one of the Arkham family members, which I know there's like a crazy Arkham family member. I can't remember his name though, like his first name. But anyways, 3, Killer Moth. My favorite pick. Because he would rival Batman with like being a vigilante and, kind of...
He helps criminals instead of the police,
Yes, and he'd like trying to turn trust from Batman. Just a whole interesting concept. those are my top 3 picks for villains for Batman. Besides Deathstroke, of course. I would love to see Deathstroke. Deathstroke's always going to be my number 1 pick, but it's too early.
Way too early. He would get just murdered, like on the spot. It'd be bad.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, do you have any picks before we move on?
Basically the same things as yours, but in a different order. I just personally think Mad Hatter is too weak to be working alone. If he was working with someone else, maybe he's working with Hugo Strange. Mad Hatter.
I think that's too much at that point. Together. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with Mad Hatter, right? I do think there needs to be some side villains involved, and you could. No, but
no. You don't like them that much?
They could actually work well together, though. Now that I'm thinking about it, just because he mind controls, he creates the weird human things. But yeah, I think if they do Mad Hatter, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't think they will, though. But we'll have to maybe have this conversation sometime else.
Yeah.
Anyways,
a year or 2 from now.
Yes. Whenever I've processed this movie a little bit more, or anything. Let me look into Mad Hatter more. Because my only representation really is I haven't read a lot of comics with the Mad Hatter. I've read some, but mainly the Arkham games.
Yeah.
So, go see the movie. Amazing. I don't know why you were watching this if you haven't seen it, but tell us what you think down below in the comments. Do you agree with some of our opinions? Do you disagree with some of our opinions? I know the Spider-Man one's going to be a highly controversial topic, but I'm a huge DC fan, so that's just me. But anyways, we'll move on to Obi-Wan now, because I know we're just talking about the same things over and over again now.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about Obi-Wan? Is it going to be good?
So I'm actually gonna let you answer this first, because if you all know, William is a huge Star Wars fan, which I'm a huge Star Wars fan as well, but William is a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Just because he's a nerd, a huge nerd. But it's whatever. I'm just kidding.
Wow. I guess.
So,
well,
what do you
Obi-Wan
think initially?
I think okay, so I'm very much in the middle, because I don't trust the director. I don't
Who's the director?
Deborah Chow. She has not done anything.
She hasn't done anything, yeah.
Yeah, so
that.
And she's only done a few episodes of Mandalorian, really. And I think those are the ones I didn't like, actually.
Episode 2, she did episode 2 of both of them. That would suck.
And those are the worst episodes of Mandalorian, right?
No, I don't know if she. That was just a joke.
I know you and I both hate the second episodes in each of them. I don't remember which one she did, but anyways, I don't trust her because she's only done Mandalorian. I think that it was a bad decision to bring in the Inquisitors. The reason why is because those Inquisitors are in Rebels. Only one of them isn't. So he can't just mollywop these Inquisitors. They have to live, unfortunately. So you can't just kill them all, because I think Obi-Wan has the ability to. It seems as though Obi-Wan is actually going to be fighting with blasters more than lightsabers. So that maybe explains why he doesn't kill them. But I just think if you had chosen different enemies for him to fight, it would have been better. But I think besides that, it does look good. The way that they used music in the trailer really got me hyped for it. I hope they used the music as well as they did in the trailer. I think it's gonna be good, but I'm just scared.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not very hopeful, to be honest, because of the head shape of the Inquisitor. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, this is gonna be terrible. No, just because of the fact, first of all, the Inquisitors, and also, I hope they don't nerf Obi-Wan, and I feel like they are going to.
Yeah,
Which makes me sad.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
No, I don't like them, but I also don't like
the
that.
Inquisitors?
Yeah, you see, in the Rebels, Darth Maul wrecks them, and Obi-Wan wrecks Darth Maul. So I think it's the equivalent of the I told someone, I don't remember if this was you or not, but the equivalent. Okay, so you know how in Rebels,
I
Ezra
think you told me
and
that.
Kanan, well, I'll say it again, encountered Darth Vader. He just destroyed them.
Yes.
That would be the equivalent of the Inquisitors encountering Obi-Wan. They would have to run, because they are not good enough to take
Well,
on
my whole
a
thing
master.
is, I think the thing they're going to play on is the fact that
He's not using his
the
lightsaber.
Lars,
Mm-hmm.
if they find out where Obi-Wan is and who Obi-Wan is protecting, the Lars are in danger.
Well, we know they come out of this fun, so
Yeah, but the set of villains is very unfortunate. But like, who else are you gonna do?
new characters.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was a thing where it was like Obi-Wan not having to be a Jedi, but
Obi-Wan
it's okay.
fought Darth Krayt. Obi-Wan fought Dark Jedi. Didn't he fight
But Darth
Gunman
Krayt
Boss?
is not a thing in this universe.
He could be. Very easily so.
No,
He
because
was Yadimundi's Padawan.
you're forgetting about Sheev. Forgetting about Sheev.
Oh, you mean Palpatine?
Sheev Palpatine. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why
Just
are you
call him
calling
random.
by his first name? I was so weird. I was like, what?
I've never done that before, but I kind of like that now.
Sheev, and I was like, it took me a second because I automatically knew who you were talking about, but I was just so confused that you called him Sheev.
No, because Darth Krayt is like the big bad. Like, he's a really big bad guy, but I don't think Palpatine would let that happen. But we'll see.
Fair.
We'll see. Hopefully, it's good. I'm just kind of worried because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of room to work with. Like, initially, when I thought we were going to get an Obi-Wan show, I thought it was going to be like Clone Wars, like, oh, this is him leading his troops or whatever, and I was like, oh my freaking gosh, this is going to be amazing. Because we got the, I don't know, like, people would make like fan images, and I remember that one fan image where he was holding the shield and a lightsaber in his General Kenobi outfit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get Clone Wars stuff. Like, this is amazing. Just seeing all the characters. But, it's not, so. I'm sure they'll make it okay.
I hope so.
If they screw up Obi-Wan, there's definitely going to be a problem.
There's going to be a big problem if they screw up everyone.
Like, some people probably won't watch Star Wars if they screw up Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see. I'm hopeful. I was hopeful for Boba Fett too, and that just, feels weird now, but...
It does just feel weird.
I feel like we have to see more, because... No, that's a bad example I'm thinking of. I was like, it's kind of like Moon Knight, but we know way more about Obi-Wan than we do Moon Knight. I don't know. I'm
we'll
not
just have
going
to
to get
wait
into
and
my
see.
Star Wars rant.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully it's good, and we'll probably talk about it more once another trailer comes out. But other than that, Lego Star Wars is coming out on the 5th of April. Amazing. Like, I can't believe that's happening finally. Like, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the roster?
Oh, not really.
Do you think you're going to get the game or no?
Difficult to say.
I'll tell you how it is. Like, I'm not going to be able to play it much because of school, but I'll definitely like say, oh, it's good or it's bad. Which is probably not going to be bad, but that you know what I'm saying. Well, anyways, before we get going on the channel, we have some ideas, and if one of these ideas kind of like resonates with you, like just let us know down in the comments. I'm currently watching My Hero, which I know I've been saying that forever, but I'm on like episode 105 out of like 111. So
That's
next
close
week,
to the end.
yes, next week we can probably do a My Hero tier list. And then also, William, do you want to introduce this idea we kind of had?
So, me and Lincoln were thinking as really big superhero genre fans, and the fact that we're just such creative people, we're so cool that we want to maybe develop our own personal superhero universe,
Yeah, and
characters,
that might happen
storylines.
slowly over time. Like William and I have to definitely discuss like where the powers come from, like what's the gimmick, but I think it would definitely be cool.
Yeah.
To do that. So be expecting that in the future. Let us know if you guys have any ideas for how to do that. Like I think right now kind of what I'm thinking is how we break the episodes up into stuff. We kind of break this episode up. We kind of break this episode up into different parts, and we'd have like, oh, this is the character this, and
Yeah.
his villains are this, and this, or she is this, and her villains are this, and this. Or we can go more into depth in the villains, just depending on how you guys respond to it. I'm just excited to say that just because it's a really cool idea, and I don't know when we're gonna get around to it, but it will most likely be this summer. So tell us if you're excited for that, because that will definitely motivate us to get that out for you.
Yeah.
Would you like to say anything else, William?
I mean, that's really it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week.